I've missed you guys. So today we're going to be cutting, prepping, getting a bag ready to sew. All the things I do before cutting out a bag. Oh, and cutting out a bag. Yeah. Yeah, so it's been a while. I know. I'm going to probably at the end of the video catch you up on what I've been doing. But let's get to it. It's been so long, you guys. I've missed you, and I hope you've missed me. Let's do it. Come on, let's go. Okay, before I get started, I wanted to show you what I have in prep work. I keep my patterns in these plastic bags. I write the name of the pattern on the bag. I got these from Amazon, Ziploc. I have a whole tub of them. So I'm going to try to put links for everything down in my description. Then, oh my gosh, I'm trying to keep this organized. Okay, so I have in one of my other videos how I cut my patterns. And I use this paper cutter. Saves a lot of time. And then when you get to the curved areas, you can just use paper scissors. So that's what I use to cut my patterns. To hold my large rolls of like vinyl, oh my gosh, this may be hard to show you. I use either a swimming pool noodle, you see that? Or oftentimes, when I get fabric, it'll come on a large, you can get the, there we go, cardboard tubes, okay? That set aside. Then, I have a saw, which I have a video of me using a saw, but most often I'll use a rotary cutter, and I buy the blades in large quantities because I go through these like a crazy person. My scissors are Kai. I have Kai regular scissors. These are the 7250s, it looks like. Regular paper scissors, and I use these to cut my zippers as well. I have a regular quilting ruler. And then I use this ruler with the handle for most of my sewing. So when I cut a straight edge along the pattern, like so, I use this with the rotary cutter to get a straight edge. Now, most patterns come only one-sided, so I cut 2 patterns, and then that way I get a full, whoops, too close. Then I get a full full pattern piece, and I tape them together like so. There we go. So today I'm going to be cutting out a Chloe by Shambhala. This is probably my most popular pattern that I get orders for. And it's simple. I've got 1, 2, 3 pattern pieces, the gusset, front, back, and the top flat panel. And then of course we've got our instructions, and there's something else I wanted to share with you. You see these little containers? I get my mushrooms in these containers. They're various sizes. I save them so that when I put together my pieces, my hardware, zippers, and all that. Here's another one. This isn't mushrooms. I don't know what came in this one. But you see what I have in it? This is leftover, but hardware, zippers. So each project has, I keep all my stuff in this. So yeah, and then I will, oh here, let me give you an example. Here is a project right here, so I keep my projects in little containers like this, and then then I'll keep the hardware in these inside the little basket. So yeah, that way, because normally I have more than one project going on at any one time. And then over here you don't see, but I have little carts, so I keep them in the carts. So that's it on the, I think that's it. I'll probably come up with something else and I'll go, oh yeah, I left this out. But anyway, that's it. That's what I got for how I usually get started. And then we will, I think I'll start with the vinyl first. We'll get going on that. All right, so I'm starting with the vinyl, like I said. You can't see all this piece, but I've got it centered for you. What I've done is I take part of the big roll and I cut it. This is the gusset. Got 2 pieces. Now this is going to be stabilized with, I'm using Decaville Light. So here is the trick that I use, my secret. This is 505 temporary adhesive. What is it, Odif? This, I think these are the same people that make Odacoat. I'll also share this link. But here's my trick. Wrong side of the fabric. Little tiny spots of temporary spray on the wrong side of the fabric. Put down your pattern piece, right? Now I'm only doing 1 piece at a time. You could do this with 2 pieces. Then you can take your ruler. I'm just using my my regular ruler here on the ends, but yeah. It holds that temporary adhesive. You can't see me over here. I'll get to you over there. I haven't forgotten you. I'm off camera. The temporary adhesive keeps it from slipping. Here you go. See, now remember I told you I used the ruler with the handle. I didn't change the blade, so oh my goodness, I hope it stays in place. This is where you have to be. Now, there are times when I don't use the straight edge. Let me show you. If I throw all caution to the wind, look at that. Woo! Exciting. I mean, I've been doing this a while. So I don't always use the straight edge. And to be honest, see, this is gonna go in a seam. No one's even gonna know. It's not perfect, but when I really need a straight edge, and I have to admit we're a bit of a perfectionist, I really do like using that straight edge. So there it is, right? And see, comes off. Now, you do have a little bit of these little spots, but you do not see it on the right side. And they do dry up. Okay, now, same thing for the stabilizer, but I do not do it on the wrong side because this has got that slick surface. So I'm going to spray, 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 spray. Put it down like so. Make sure it sticks. Now, we all know that the stabilizer cannot be the same size as your exterior piece. So this is what I do. And I don't know, maybe you guys know that I probably do things the absolutely slowest way that you can do it. However, it's just the way I do it. I'm going to double check what the seam allowance is. I believe, this is why I always have my instructions handy. I believe the seam allowance is 1/4 inch, and yes it is. Seam allowances are included in the pattern pieces and are 1/4 inch. So, there we go. And what I'm going to do is measure a little over 1/4 on each side. Where's my other ruler? I had another ruler. So oftentimes what I will do is just take a marker and just mark this, and then I can run along. So this is 1/2 inch. Oh, see, you can tell I did not use the straight edge because it's all wonky. So what I'll do is I'll go a little beyond 1/4. So I'll go like a 3/8 inch on each side. I'm just going to draw it. And I'm going to draw it. Can you see me? Oh yeah, you kind of can see me. Hopefully you can see me. And I'm going to go about 3/8. I don't want to risk sewing on the decavel or getting it caught up. Gonna do it on the end too. Just gonna mark it and then I'll cut it. Okay, like so. I could just cut it if I was really, really good at this. But I told you I was in I don't know if I told you or not. I was in construction for years, and there's this thing in construction where you measure twice and cut once. My husband was in construction, and he used to always talk about that. I had the same strategy in sewing: measure twice, cut once. So here, carefully, slowly, I'm going to cut this one gusset. Okay, there's one side. I'm not throwing these straps on the floor. I've got a basket down there, a bucket. Although it would be pretty funny if I did. Okay. Now watch. You take your gusset piece, and again, temporary, spray on the wrong side. Now let's see what it looks like. Place it within the area you want it to be. I don't know, this stuff is just as good as double-sided tape. Because now, when I go to put it in my heat press, it's already in place, and I know it's going to be seated properly. Okay? So there you have it. Now see, it took a little while, but then you don't have to worry about things not being cut properly or placed properly. So I've got one piece cut, and I'll be back. I may cut out another piece just for shits and giggles, just so you can see it again. But this is the first piece. There you are. Okay, here I am. Now this is what I do. Just take a piece right off the vinyl, cut it, move my vinyl. Oh, and there went the vinyl. Okay. Spray. All right. Now you get to see me cut curved pieces as well. Oh, I also use metal rulers too. I use those for sometimes I use them for straps. This bag has got piping. Okay, now here we go. So I'm going to take the straight edge. Can you see this? Oh yeah, you can. Go straight down here. Same thing with this side. This is an area where I really like to use the ruler. Actually, I always really like to use a ruler, but sometimes. Okay, now straight across the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to just take this, go right along that edge. You can tell this pattern is well loved. There we go. And there's that. Now, take some decavel. Same thing. Oh God, my patterns. Everything's going everywhere. There's my scissors. Same thing here. Cut those. All right. Just like I said. Now this, I'm not even going to use the ruler because I need to cut off the seam allowance, which I will probably do with the ruler. Can you see me? Yeah, I think you can. Okay. There we go. Take this off. Pen. This isn't this is not an exact science for me, clearly. Oh Lord, you guys are like, oh, how does she even know? So again, this ruler is like a 1/2 inch, so I go right down the middle of it. See that neon green? 3/8 is, like I said, I'm going at 3/8, and it's right down the middle of that, pretty much. The biggest issue is that so I don't sew through this Decaville. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. And so then I take this and cut this off all the way around, which is why I like to mark it. I've even eyeballed it, you know. That's how I am. Okay. Debris everywhere. All right, so go like this. Nothing is worse than your rotary blade going dull. Oh, well, there's a lot of things that are worse, but oh my goodness. It's so frustrating. I try to catch it right away because it just isn't worth the frustration. Okay, now we take this and you see how it's inside? And this is, I eyeball this. I've been doing this long enough to know if it's inside. This has a hard time sticking to the shiny side, but sometimes I stick it there a little bit. But yeah, this is close. Like right here, it's questionable, but it's still within 1/4 inch. It should be okay. So that's what I do. Now I'm going to cut the rest of this out because you've seen enough vinyl, and then I'll be back with the other pieces. Okay, now these pieces here are wool. So clearly I'm handling these a little different. I have them interfaced with a woven interfacing, which I've already done. I've got 2 pieces here now. In order to match this plaid, this flap is going to go like this on this panel here. So what I've done is I have drawn lines here. You can see the lines that line up with the plaid. And I've done this, here's the center mark. So this goes down the center of this on each piece. So I've got the lines on each piece. I also have the yellow line marked. So this can line up on each piece of the plaid. So first thing I did was I interfaced, and then I just cut out a square, and I made sure that this is going down the center of, I'm showing you the flap panel. So I line up the center piece down the center of this piece on the plaid, then the lines go here, and then I've drawn the two parts for the yellow across here, and this is where I want the yellow to go across on my flap. So then this way they will line up when I go to put them together on the bag. See that? And this is also interfaced, and the yellow is here and down the center. Same thing for this one. Now I am going to cut this out with my scissors. These are the Kai scissors. I could do this with the rotary blade, but the other piece, the flap, is two of them, and I just thought I'd like to do it with the scissors. There we go. One done. And the second one. Now, both of these pieces are matching. You see how I have them both lined up so that they both are perfectly matched. There we go. Done. And now here we have the lining. And I'm going to be using the same principle as I have on all the other ones, where I'm going to put right sides together. This is also interfaced with the woven interfacing. Here is my pattern piece. I'm going to take a little bit of the adhesive, put this down, spray the adhesive on the wrong side. Let's see how I do with the rotary cutter here on this. It may not go through too. We'll see. If not, I'll use scissors. Yeah, I'm going to use scissors. I'm telling you, using the temporary adhesive is so simple. There's that. Now, on this last piece, I'm not sure. I may or may not show you with the saw. Let's see how I do. Okay, I'm gonna show you this just for fun with the saw. I had this in one of my other videos. I don't always use it, but it's fast. And this is, I've had this for like, I don't know, 30 years. We'll see how it does here. So I've got, this is the gusset, and I've got both right sides together, and I've just drawn the lines from the pattern. It goes pretty fast. It goes through just about any thickness. These are industrial strength, so we use these like in the factory. You can get much cheaper ones in Amazon, but they're not as strong. So that's how the saw works. These are great if you are cutting out multiple layers. They are the bomb shindiggity. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, so we are going to get to details now. There is some stuff I'm not going to show you with all my cutting, just because I don't think it's necessary. I'm going to do, on this bag, I'm going to do the loopy straps, and I've got a video which I think, I'm going to try to link it in this video so you know what the loopy straps are. But there's some things it's just too boring to show you. It's just basic cutting. But what I did here, if you'll notice on the woven, I first interfaced it with a woven, and I want the stability of the Decaville light. So I first interfaced it with the woven, and then I interfaced it with the Decaville light. Then I'm kind of odd in that I mark all my seam allowances. Now they're not perfect, as you can see, but with a marking pen, I go through and I mark my seam allowances. I also I use a tool on my sewing machine, but having them marked just makes it so much easier. I know what a 1/4 inch looks like, but I also like to have them marked. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. So I marked them on everything. Now, a lot of you are looking at this and said, my gosh, that only has, what, one? Look at it, just a few pattern pieces. And you're thinking, oh, that's a pretty easy bag. And yeah, that's why I like this bag. And it also makes for a very simple instruction, because you know I don't like long videos. All right, so this is what I've done. This pattern has a closure that's just this little clasp closure. So the first thing, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because I have made this mistake before. Make sure that you see which direction these little clips go. And then you take I find the center, I use the pattern, fold it in half, mark where this is gonna go with a pen, choot choot, like that. Then I mark where that line goes. Then I place this on the center, like so. And then I just mark this out. And this is where I'm gonna cut with my little X-Acto knife. Where's my X-Acto? You know what an X-Acto knife looks like. Here we go. Then I'm going to be cutting this out with the X-Acto knife. Okay? And this is actually the front of the bag. This is the back of the bag. This is not going to have anything cut out of it. So that's how I mark that. Then on the gussets, we're going to be using these strap connectors. I'm having a hard time with my mouth today. So if you look at the pattern, it shows this. So what I've basically done is I've measured, this is like 1.5 inches, 1.3 inches. I like a full 2 inches down. It allows me for a room for error. So what I've done is I find the center. The center is basically, oh look at that, it's a little bit off. Don't you love it? It's okay, that's good enough. Basically 2 inches down, and then this is gonna be, what is this? Don't you love it? Okay, no, that's right, I got it. That does look like a little off. Why does that, ooh, see, don't you love when I do these videos for you guys? This should have been like right there. Or maybe, no, let's see. You know what I tell you? Measure twice, cut once. So I would have done this at right here. And then what I do is, again, make sure you know how this is gonna lay. This is gonna go like this, and it's gonna go like that, right? So I put this piece here, like so. Now what I've done, this is why I didn't, this is the first one I did. So now I'm gonna remeasure, and this is different from my other ones. So I put this as the center right here. Now I did this on the other ones, and I'm gonna show you how I did it. Now I'm gonna get a straight line, like so. And I drew the straight line on the other ones, okay? So then we're gonna go right here and line this up with a straight line. We're gonna get better lines this time. There we go. Now, and I'm gonna mark this with black so I know that, I'm gonna go over this so I know that I've redone this one. And we're gonna put black dots here. Black, black. So I know the black dots are the, see? Isn't this great? That's why I say measure twice. There you go. So I know the black dots are the correct one, and I will even put X's through these. So I know that these are not good. There you go. Let's double check these while we're at it. Watch, they're all wrong. Wouldn't that be funny? This is good. And see, what I did was line this up. I drew a straight line down. Yeah, this one's good. And I marked all these. And then what I'll do, where's my hole punch? Is I'm gonna manually punch holes in these. Boop, 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 boop. Like so. So that when I go to put this will already have the holes. This will be the back side, and then you can just put this in like that. I'll punch the holes ahead of time. While I got your attention, let's go ahead and you can watch me verify all these. Line this up with a straight line. Let's just double check these together. Let's see here. Check the center. Yep. That looks good. Straight line. Yep. Let's check this. Yep, that looks good. Check this one. Line this up. 2 inches down. Center, beautiful, okay. And a straight line. Yep. It was just that first one because I didn't use a ruler to draw the straight line all the way down. Got it. All right. So those are marked. Those are the big deals. See, the seam allowance markings. Oftentimes I'll mark the center, which I haven't done yet. I like to mark the center, so I'll take this like this, notch it right here. Same with this one, notch the center like so. Notch. Take these, because that's what we're going to be doing on these, is matching centers. Notch. 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 And then I'll go and do the same thing on the lining. Now on the lining, I'm not going to mark the seam allowances because I do the lining on my domestic machine and it's really easy. And I do those seam allowances a little bit larger so that the bag fits nice and snug. Okay, and this doesn't need any kind of marking because the flap slides in. I'm not going to mark the seam allowances on this because it's going to be like 1/8 of an inch and I just used the foot for that. Okay, I believe that's it for this. Anything else that I have left out? I didn't cut this. Now a lot of you, I have the dies for this and I've got one on order and I cannot wait. I hand cut this. Lots of work to get that right, but after a while you get that practice. And I've got this piece cut. This piece goes along the back, top stitched with rivets. And what else can I share? The piping will go inside. Don't do much for that except for double stick tape. Put piping inside. You've seen my piping videos, I hope. I've done a few of those. And then the lining. And I've cut out a pocket. So the lining, I'm not going to do that right now because I've already shown you that. And then the pocket, and I've shown you plenty of videos on that. So that's it. That's all I got to share right now. Hope that helped, and it's so nice to be back.
There's like so much I have to say. I really wanted to talk to you guys, but like I have so much on my mind. My brain is going to explode. So let me first start by telling you what's been going on in the last year. Like every 90 days, I set myself new goals. And last spring, I decided that I was going to become a day trader, trading stock options. And, you know, because it was a good challenge. It was all about making money. And it was the most difficult, of course, I chose the most difficult thing you could possibly choose to do. And when I was practicing on the simulated program, I killed it. I did so good. And so I went from the simulated program to the real money last August. And I think really what I want to focus on here is never to give up. And it holds true with sewing. It holds true with whatever it is you're going to do. And this is why I teach you all techniques, because what you learn in techniques, you will never lose. And I don't care what it is you're doing. The techniques will always be with you, no matter what bag you're sewing. if you know the techniques, and it's a skill set that you will never lose, as long as you don't lose your mind. So yeah, I was bound and determined to learn how to day trade. And I'm still learning. I mean, it's something that takes many people years to learn, but I was a woman obsessed. Just the same way that I was with sewing. I've been sewing over 50 years. So, I can sit down at any machine, figure out how to use any machine. You throw me a bag pattern now, and I can pretty much figure out how to do any bag. And that's what I want to teach all of you. So literally I was spending I got a squeaky chair. Sorry. Literally I was spending probably 4 hours every day until I figured out how to do this. Now I know how to do it. It's just perfecting my skill. And it's the same way with bags. Once you know these techniques, it's about perfecting your skill. So that's what happened to me. I was kind of like, possessed. And also it's trying to prevent myself from being a gambler. I have this vision of I'm calling her Marge. It's the little old lady at the 25-cent slot with a cigarette and a whiskey sour hanging out her mouth, because you can get really, really obsessed. So I don't want to be that woman. But I'm kind of was that woman at the sewing machine where I could get lost and spend all day. I don't know. Do you guys get like that? Like, holy crap. So anyway, never giving up. So once you learn the techniques that I'm teaching you, you practice them over and over and over again, to where like some bags you can put together without any instructions, because you know what's going to be next once you learn the methods. Yeah, so that's where I've been. If you saw what I'm sitting in front of, I got 3 big screens with all these charts. It's kind of like flying an airplane in the cockpit with all those indicators and instruments, except for you're flying in a hurricane. That's what I've been doing. So I have missed you. But I want you to know that just keep at it. I'm always available, except for during trading hours, but I'm always available to help you, just like I was before. And I am now. I'm seeking balance in my day. So I'm trying to get at my sewing in the afternoon. And and I think it's important for all of us to do that. Seeking balance in your day and never giving up, because you will succeed if you never give up. Thanks. I love you all.